All right. Hello, everyone. I hope I'm audible and visible to all of you. So, my name is Dr. Sachin Sidhra, and welcome to today's session. So, we are going to start with today's session. And before I take it any further, I welcome all of you to this session on corporate culture and soft skills. Okay. So, Prashant is here, says hello. Hi, hello, Prashant. How are you? Very nice. So, I hope the PPT is visible. You can see the PPT along with this. Hi, Krishna Sandeep. Welcome to the session again. Okay, great. Hi, Asna. Thank you, Saurabh sir. Hello, Shifa. Hi, how are you? Okay, so I see a few channels taking up. You guys joining from some of you are joining from YouTube Live. Some of you are joining via the platform directly, and some of you are from the LinkedIn platform joining in. So welcome, welcome, welcome to the session. And I believe it's a Sunday afternoon for all of you. You guys are pretty much at your comfortable spaces, relaxed, calm, composed. Vedansh, hi, you're joining from LinkedIn. So, hi, Vedansh, very well. Good to have you here. Okay, so hi, Mandavi Tripathi. Hello, hi. I'm so happy to see all of you over here. Okay, so my biggest thing about starting a session is the first thing that I love to do is when I come over in a session or I like to interact with people, the first thing that I want to know is what brings you here? What are your expectations out of the session? Hi, Ramavat Sridhar. So, you guys, those who are already on chat saying hellos and highs to me, so I'll say hello and hi to all of you. But I would at the same time would say, please, why don't you go on and tell me what brings you here? What are your expectations today in this next 1 hour or 1 hour, 1.5 hour kind of thing that we are going to do? How are you going to take a benefit out of this? What are you expecting? What are the major points that you really want me to you know um, focus upon? That would be a great thing to start with, because there is a vast variety of things that we can cover with corporate culture and soft skills. Soft skills in itself is a huge umbrella term, and I believe I would say it's like a great thing that one can talk about a great deal about soft skills, and similarly about corporate culture. The shenanigans of corporate culture are innumerous. I think I cannot even put a great closure term to corporate culture terminologies, but there are certain things that we know, and we actually don't realize these are the part of corporate culture and have always been. Some things have evolved with life, or rather with changing times. Hi Rishabh, hi Gautami, good to see you guys here. Welcome to the session. It's indeed a great pleasure to have all of you here. Akhil says how to prepare for a campus placement interview and what is the right way to take those kind of interviews. So that brings us to the very good part. Let's say interviews, and let's talk about interviews. How many of you are how many of you are afraid of the process called interviews? Or rather, interviews are not just something that we do to take jobs. Interviews are a regular part of our lives. Let's say someone in your office says, hey, I'd like to sit one to one and discuss a thing with you, or I'd like to know, I'd have assigned you a task, what's the update on it? These are all a part of interviews. Even at home, You get home and someone says, "Oh, I need to talk to you." How many of you get afraid? You start shivering, you start getting chills. Sometimes, nervousness creeps in, and sometimes you're like, "Oh my god, what are they going to ask me?" It is. Does that happen to you? आप लोगों के साथ होता है ऐसा? Will it be okay if I keep it a mix of Hindi and English? Give me an answer on chat, yes or no. Can we keep it a mix of Hindi and English, or do you want me to speak purely in English? Go ahead. Let me know. Okay. Okay. So Ramavat Sridhar says, yes, we can keep it in a mix, right? Yeah. All right. Good. So before you people ever, I'm a fresher, I need an expert mentoring of these kinds of skills. Hariharan, okay. Hi Tokir, hi Karthik. Only English, Karthik says. All right. Uh, Sanket says yes. Vedansh says yes. Okay, I'm going to keep it maximum in English, but a few words here and there from Hindi can come in. But I'm instantly going to translate that if someone does not understand. So Hariharan, you are a fresher and you need expert mentoring in these kinds of skills. Well, I'll just tell you, experts experts can mentor you very well, but I'd always say take a mentor of a person who is a constant learner himself or herself. Because when you say expert, the first thing that you say is they know it all. But when you're talking about life, and this is a part of life, ladies and gentlemen, it's all about constant evolution, constant learning, uh, constant creativity. That's what I would say, right? Tips about GD. Well, I will give you some tips about GD as well, Hariharan. That's a very nice question and rather a request. I think let's do this interview part and then I'll give you a quick tip about GD also. Now, what you need to understand in an interview is whenever you're going for an interview, the first thing that you have to do is, can someone translate what you're seeing on the screen? Amat Victoria Kuram. This is the base rule of excelling any interview, be it a job interview, be it a job review interview, be it a casual conversation interview, be it a anything, any kind of conversation which is one to one, which has to lead to an outcome, can be called an interview. So this rule applies to all of them. And this stands, the one that you see on the screen is Latin, but it stands for victory loves preparation. You want to be victorious? Please go ahead, prepare well. Preparation is your key to understanding, and preparation is your key to creating the biggest victories for yourself. Thank you, Vedansh. Victory loves preparation. That's absolutely right. And I would really, really say prepare well for your interviews. Now, what do you have to prepare about? There are three things that any interview will cover. Be it a technical interview, be it an HR interview, be it a techno HR interview, be it a group interview, be it a single interview, be it a job review. Any kind of interview would cover three aspects. One, get yourself very clear. People will always ask you about your skills. Your skills are the first thing in question. Two, the people will always ask you, how are you a good fit for any role that you are a part of or you want to be a part of? Two things done. Basic two elements of an interview. Three, how are you compatible with the organization that you want to be a part of? Now you'll say, But sir, how does this matter in a job review? Oh, it does. It does. When I say organization and I'm talking about a job review interview, please understand there are smaller ecosystems within a large organization as well. Is that clear? Smaller ecosystems within a large organization. Let's say I am moving from the basic ecosystem to a mid senior ecosystem or a middle level ecosystem. I have to show that I'm compatible, I'm ready, I'm mature enough to be a part of that ecosystem. Only then I can move up there. Is that clear? You need to understand that you have to give them compelling narratives. And I'm using the word compelling narratives because nothing less than compelling is going to impress any interviewer. And I can promise you on that. Because even if they are 1% not convinced, they won't open doors for you. They won't do a right tick on your papers, or rather your request. There'll always be a question mark. So please make sure you prepare very well to answer these three elements of an interview. How does your skill benefit the organization? How do you fit in the role that you are asking for? And how do you fit in the place that you are looking forward to be in? Right? And this is not a one time place. This is always going to include your resume. It is going to include your your cover letters. Everything is going to be used in it. Everything. And then last but not the least, you sitting across the table justifying all the claims that you have made in your resume or your cover letters. And if we are talking about post hiring interviews, that means job review interviews, quarterly review interviews, appraisal interviews, you are going to be doing this with the help of all the data that you take of your performances and your experiences of the last quarter. And you're going to sit in front of your bosses, or rather your team leaders or your managers, and you're going to explain them why you should take the next step in the hierarchical body of the organization. And that's very important, right? So how do we do that? Well, be a storyteller. How many of you like stories here? Like to listen to stories? Hi Kajal, hello, how are you? um if you like to listen to stories, have you ever noticed that whenever someone is narrating a very good story to you, you can imagine, you can visualize what is happening right in front of your eyes, just like you are a part of that scenario? Isn't that right? So you have to be a compelling storyteller. You have to be very, very good with designing your content. Let us say, for example, um, if I have an interview and I'm sitting with the HR, the most common question that can come is, can someone tell me what is the most common question that an HR asks in the beginning of the interview? The beginning of the interview. Tell me something about yourself. Introduce yourself. Something like this will be asked to you. Now you keep a regular content just like, hi, my name is this, I am from this college or university, I am pursuing this course, this will not help. It will not help. What is it going to help is you start creating a story about you, which is in the form of where you started, where you are, and why do you think you should be eligible to take a candidature, or rather take a claim at the opening that is available. You don't need to necessarily start with your name. Why? Because your resume is already with them. They can read your name over it. But even if they don't say your name in the beginning of the conversation, it doesn't mean that they don't know your name. They know your name. Very true. So you can start with hi. Well, to introduce myself, I'd like to say that I am a person who is a firm believer of a principle. Let's say you introduce yourself with a principle of life that you follow. Maybe you say, I'm a firm believer in the principle that failures are the stepping stones to success. Now you have given them a base statement. Weave the story around the statement, which says that you have taken up your failures, learned from it, and you have become better than what you were, and you have made yourself eligible for what you are asking for. And it will cover your history, your schooling, your education, your job experiences, and how you have evolved and what you are today sitting in front of the interviewer. And to do all this, you need to have a very, very smooth, not good, but the word is smooth communication and delivery skills. Don't use some high end vocabulary that you're trying to impress some literature expert or something like that. No, HRs are normal English speakers. They are just a little more stylish because they are speaking a little more than the rest of you every day. So what should you do? Keep your words simple, keep your sentences smaller, take regular pauses, narrate the story. Narrate the story. And when you narrate the story, make sure you add emotions on the face, in your body language, and let them connect with you. People don't buy stories that they can't connect with. And I can trustingly tell you that people don't buy stories that they can't connect with. Is that clear? So your story should be compelling, your story should be creative, your story should have your history, experiences. It should be a share worthy story, it should be very good with delivery, and there should be a pinch of emotions in it as well. You don't need to constantly speak. Take some pauses, have some facial expressions, and while you are narrating your stories, do use a lot of body language. That is going to be very important. Very, very important. And okay, now we are done introducing ourselves. We have given them an opener, and now they are curious to know about us. So, what is the next favorite question that comes? Why should we hire you? Is it the next favorite question of the HR? Yes, no, maybe. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Those who have just joined in, a very good afternoon to you. Why should we hire you? The moment someone asks this to a fresher, the first thing the fresher thinks is, uh, I think there is a problem. They're not going to hire me. Most of the freshers actually lose a lot of confidence when someone asks, why should we hire you? They think that, okay, I'm losing the interview. Am I right? How many of you, as freshers, have ever had this small, what I can say, the mini heart attack kind of a thing when in that interview suddenly everything was going good and the HR says, okay, so that was really nice, you're giving some very good answers, but tell me, why should you be still hired? We are like, the entire confidence goes down, so the smile of our face goes, uh, why should I be hired? Okay. uh, you start going short on your breath, you start losing the charm on your face, and you start thinking, is the interview actually going right? Well, they asked this question, Namrata, because this question is the litmus test. We all know litmus paper, right? Well, I got a very funny answer on the chat. They say, cause we need money, sir. If at all a person was only working for money, trust me, the whole world would be full of entrepreneurs. Nobody would work for anyone else. The thing is, if I have to test the reality of a candidate, this is the easiest way to do it. And that is why we call it a litmus test. A litmus paper is used for testing acids, bases, and salts. It changes colors whenever it is in the contact of an acid, I guess. Right? So if you are picking up a litmus test question, that means the reality is going to come out the moment you ask this question to a candidate. A candidate who is trying to bluff, who's trying to lie, who's trying to make fake stories, is never getting his ability to answer this question. Whereas a candidate who's true, who's honest, who's got the real set of skills, who's got the real understanding of the job profile, will always be a good and a ready person to answer this question. Why? I'll give you a very simple example. Why should we hire you? It is based on a very simple approach. Again, you've talked about your skills. How are your skills connecting to the job requirement? Two, you've talked about your personality. How is your personality connecting with the job requirements? Three, you've talked about what else? You've talked about your skills, you've talked about your personality, you've talked about one more thing, and that is your compatibility with the organization, right? So you have to tell them that I find myself or I should be hired because I have done my research and I have found these things, that your company's environment is like this, which matches my personality because of these reasons. I found that you require these skill sets. If you look at my resume or if I talk about my projects, I've done these projects which are matching to the requirement of your skill set requirement in the profile. And if I talk about personalities attributes of the profile required, I have been using them. So I am a good fit to your job profile as well as to the organization. But if I am faking, if I'm lying, I will never be able to do this research or justify that. Trust me. Why? Because then I'm only selling myself. I'm only saying I am valuable, I am worthy, I am doing this, I am doing that, I am a leader, I am a team player. But can I justify with examples? If yes, I'm not lying. If no, I'm just trying to lie and create a fake match with the job requirements. Period. I'll give you a very simple example. I was recently in an interview and I asked the candidate, okay, see, the role that I'm offering you is a kind of a managerial role. Could you give me an example of your management skills or managerial skills? Now, I am asking that person, how do you manage others? He is telling me, how does he manage himself? He said, oh, my managerial skills are really good. I think um, I can manage my time very well. I've never been late to the class. I've never done this. I've never done that. I am not going to hire you as a manager for your own self. I am going to hire you for a manager, as a manager for managing a team of people. Don't talk about how you manage yourself. Talk about how you are going to manage my people, because that's my primary responsibility in this job profile. That's what I was looking for, right? Am I right or not? If you are being hired as a team leader or a manager, is the company paying you to be a good self manager or a good team manager? That's where we create the gap. And that's where our narratives become less impressive and less compelling. Why? Because people say, Sir, I told them a story, but that story did not hit them well. I do this simple thing with people. I say, Okay, you, what story did you tell? Then they tell me the story, and I tell them the gap that the story has. So, map the competencies very carefully. If they say we need a person with managerial skills, that means they want you to manage others. If they say we need someone who's very good with self management, that means they're talking about you managing on your own and working on your own. Is that clear? Please understand the words very clear. The words itself have a deep meaning in a job description. So make your stories as per the job descriptions and connect it with the job description. Okay, so Namrata has a question that in some companies they are asked about your family background. Why do they need it? Well, that is a very easy way to understand how much of responsibility do you have in your personal life. For example, if someone comes from a humble or a very economically, uh, what can I say, financially or economically humble background, or rather economically or financially very strong background, that person will not be the first one who comes from a economically weak or economically struggling background, or rather someone who comes from a middle class family, will have that maturity or vision of handling himself or herself carefully. Why? Because they know they have no option but to comply and start delivering to support their families. Right? One. Two, if someone comes from a very well off family, there is much of a chance that the person will not be very responsible in first place. Right? That's a general notion. But the HRs check. After asking about your family background, they start probing and understanding how much of a responsibility ratio you share in the family tree of yours. For example, I'll give you a very good example of a person who comes from a very good family, well to do. Father, mother, both are into, the mother is an entrepreneur, father is into a government job, doing very well for themselves, but the person is looking forward to work in a multinational company. Goes for an interview, the people ask him, okay, your father is a government employee, your mother is an entrepreneur and a very big entrepreneur. Why do you want to come and work with us? After asking his family background, so he replies that I want to have my own identity, I want to work on my own self, I want to create myself a respectable outlook in the society, that people say I'm a self-made person, I'm not a person who's taking up you know things that are being served on a plate to him. So the next question comes, because this is a very common answer, the next question comes, okay, um, tell us, what are the important tasks you take over in your family's daily operations or working? So the person says, okay, when let's talk about my family. As my mom is an entrepreneur, she needs to travel. My My father is a government employee, and he has a very strict schedule to things. I make sure that I take the responsibility of smaller things like grocery shopping and this and that and every all those things that he told. Very generic answer, but that makes a huge difference. Why? Because if some person who's a young one, about a 20 early 20s kind of a guy, or a mid 20s or a late 20s kind of a guy, goes for grocery shopping and vegetable shopping for his family, that means he or she knows how to take responsibility. So if given a responsibility to them, they will handle it more carefully. That's why background questions are asked. Is that clear? Now, let's move on and let's talk more about strengths and weaknesses. That's a very good question. Well, strengths and weaknesses, whenever someone says, what are your strengths and weaknesses? We do always talk about our strengths and weaknesses, but that's a trap question. How? Usually, as humans, when we talk about our strengths, we tend to brag about it or boast about it. We say, oh, I am very good at it. Very good. What is a measurement of that very good? What is your measuring stick of calling yourself very good? Pro, expert. There's no common measuring stick. So that's a trap. Whereas, when talking about weakness, people usually expose their vulnerable sides. Again, a trap. So, how do you handle this question? Very simple. Whenever someone is saying, okay, what are your strengths and weaknesses? Tell them two things that you're very confident about, that you're very comfortable about. Not even confident will be the word, comfortable about. Apart from your technical skills or apart from the skills that you have acquired academically, talk about one of those things and one academic thing. So my strength is this and this, because this I've learned while I have grown up with my family and my been practicing every day, so I think I'm very good at it. The other one, which comes from academia, I would say I've done projects, I've done internships, I've worked on this, and I believe I have a good hand on this as well. Whereas if I have to talk about my weakness, I would say I would replace the word weakness with improvement areas. If you say weakness, that means that is a part of your personality which is vulnerable. Don't say weakness, because the moment you say weakness, that means you don't have an idea what to do with it. But when you say improvement area, it means that you know this is not right in you, and you also know what you should do to overcome it, and probably there is a bigger chance that you're already working on it. So what does that state? That you're a problem solver. You get a problem in your own personality, you solve it. You don't live with that problem. So you hit two birds with one stone. How? You talk about your weakness that they asked, and you show that yes, I am self aware. I know there are things that I need to improve. Two, you tell them, okay, I just don't know what I have to do. I'm also doing it. Right? So you're not just self aware, but you're a problem solver. So that's how you handle the weakness and strengths question in an interview. Now, once you are done with interviews, there is a daily part of life that you need to adhere to in the workplaces, and people call it corporate communication. Well, I don't actually understand corporate communication, this term, much, but I understand communications, formal set of communication. Please understand, be it corporate communication, be it non-corporate communication, be it workplace communication, be it personal communication, be it communication of in your workplace beyond with your work colleagues beyond workplace. There are certain things about communication that you have to be very, very careful about. Extremely careful. The first thing is, clarity. Don't communicate with an idea that I understand what I'm trying to say, so this is right. Communicate with the idea that the person who is going to listen to your, or who's going to receive your communication, should have no doubts understanding what you're trying to communicate. Communicate as per the receiver, not by your own standards. Am I being clear on that? Let us take a very small example here. You are traveling on a highway and suddenly you come across a roadside shack, the ones that we call dhabas. You get into the dhaba and you walk up to the counter and say, "Can I have a bottle of water?" The dhaba owner will be like, water? Okay. The only thing that he'll understand is water. So your mannerism, your etiquette, everything unnoticed, right? Am I right? That goes unnoticed. Why? Because the person didn't just understand anything. The only word that he understood is water and bottle. That's it. So he'll pick up a water bottle and say, huh. And you take the water bottle, you pay him, and you say thank you. Now, thank you is a most commonly understood word out of the language English. Most of us, or rather most of the people, they understand thank you. So that time he or she will smile. Why? Because you said something good to them. But first they would not understand anything. But if you simply pick up and you say, all right, you get into the place, you notice, all right, this is not a place where English works. So how are you going to communicate? You are going to mix more of non-verbal with a little bit of words and you're going to serve it to them. You just go and say, water bottle, please. And the person says, yeah, hanji, sure, Gigi. Or whatever language, maybe even a language that you don't speak. I can give you n number of examples. I think I have people who are staying in areas where the language that they know is not being spoken very commonly. So that's how we communicate. We use more of non-verbal. So be an effective communicator. Be clear in your communication. First basic principle of communication is clarity. Do not leave anything to assumptions. You leave anything to assumption and there is a bigger chance your communication will backfire. So don't take those backfires. Okay. I am still being asked questions about interviews. Can you work under pressure? It's a very simple star based question: situation, task, action, result. Pick up a situation where you worked under pressure. What was the task at hand? What was the action that you took? And what result did you draw? Just explain them. If the result was positive, then you can say, I am very sure I can work under pressure because I drew positive results. If you failed, then you can say, that is where I learned that these are the improvements that I need to bring about in myself to work under pressure. So I believe now, given a chance, I can work under pressure. That's how you answer that question. Okay. Now, being an effective communicator, the second thing is make sure that when you're communicating, you are giving undivided attention into that. No half-hearted communications, please. Yes, no, okay, so. No one-word answers. Be very clear. Be good with your answerings. Right? So answer clearly, answer in detail, and in full sentences, please. No one words. Okay, Namrata again has a question for me, and if they ask for a bond or an agreement, that at that situation, what to answer? It's okay. What is the problem with a bond or an agreement in a job? Please understand, every bond, every agreement that has been created is created under the Indian Contract Act, and it is with both parties getting equal legal immunity in that. All right, so read well. If you don't agree to one of the clauses in the contract, you can discuss it with the HR. If they say no, no, we are not going to change it, then it's your call. You take the job or you don't. But if you are sitting there and you think this one clause will not hurt you that much, and it's not like um, a win-lose situation for you, it's okay to sign a bond. Many companies just sign a bond to retain people in their organization. Okay, so don't be afraid of bonds and agreements. It's all right. Namrata, see, if you leave without notice, most of the organizations today follow this thing. Why? Because it's a loss for them as well. All right, they have invested heavily in every human resource. So if you leave without notice, they will charge compensation to you, and that too under certain circumstances. If you discuss with them, they waive off such compensation payments. All right, but if you go by probably the notice period and everything, they will never do it. They say, okay, you serve the notice period and then you can leave. All right, it's very clearly written in the contract. If you leave immediately, you'll have to pay this much. If you leave with proper notice being served, there is no compensation to be paid. So it's all right. Don't be afraid. It's just that people run away. Suddenly one day morning they decide, I don't want to go to this company, I'm going to search another job. They leave. What is the company doing after that? They are sitting without an employee, knowing that the person is not leaving the employment correctly, right? So it's okay. You discuss with the HR, tell them this is the emergency situation, I cannot stay back, please let me go. They do let you go. Okay, so you don't have to worry on that. All right. So Hariharan says GD, points about GD. So Hariharan, this is exactly the place where we can talk about GD. Communication is the basics of running a GD effectively. How can I start my points in GD? Well, if you are speaking first, then you have to address everyone, wish everyone. Hello everyone, my name is Hariharan and I am going to start this GD which is on this topic. And I'd like to start with my point of view, which is this. Say a short point of view about yours, and then invite everyone. I'd now request everyone to speak and add to the discussion. That's it. But if you're not speaking first, then you will not be served a chance. You'll have to earn a chance. So how do you do it? You find that, okay, someone is speaking, start looking at that person, make eye contact, make non-verbal gestures. And then when that person says, that's all that I have to say, you can immediately jump in and say, oh, on that note, I would also like to add to the discussion. It's a very simple way of doing that. Now, if there is a ruckus in the GD, if there is a ruckus or rather a chaos in the GD, so what do? You can say, you can raise your voice a little louder and say, can I have your attention, please? Now, once everybody silences out, they say, thank you so much. I'd like to take about a 10-second time from you to speak my opinion on the topic. Go ahead, speak it. Right? There is no answering in the group discussion. Beta, you've been given a topic, you all have to speak about that. There's no answering. Okay, so Krishna Sandeep, I will give you an answer for your question. Where do you see yourself 5 years from now? That is also based on effective communication skills. How? Tell them your status or your level of growth right now versus directly take them 5 years down the line. Realistically, I see myself here. So, for example, if today you are just a fresher looking for a job, 5 years down the line, can you be a CEO? I don't think so. I've never seen someone become a CEO in 5 years without their daddy owning that company. I know a few daddies also who don't make their sons CEOs in 5 years. So, what do you do? There are guidelines that I would like to add to it. Smart guidelines: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, time bound. Smart: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, time bound. So you're going to start today. I stand as a fresher for my first job, and I'm looking forward to be hired as an intern, looking towards growing myself into a full-time employee by the end of 6 months. By the end of the first year in my job profile, I look at myself getting at least um, a good foothold in the organization, proving my ability to handle tasks that are assigned to me. Okay, no over promising words. Second, in the second year, what am I going to do? I at least look forward for one promotion in the second year. I am an intern because just becoming a full-time employee. That means I'm executive. I'd like to see myself either becoming a senior executive or a team leader. Right? Can be done in 1 year. Possible. Now let's move to year three. By year three, I'd like to see myself having a small team of my own. Possible. Right? Also talk around along with that, what skills would you add to yourself every year on year? What skills would you like to add to yourself related to your job profile? That is a good effective answer. So by the end of 5 years, where do you see yourself? Mid senior level position as per your company's hierarchy. So if someone is into IT, they might call themselves a manager or a senior manager. Someone who's into management or sales or retail can call themselves a product manager, a product head, a regional manager or an area manager or something like that. Right? So you can simply answer that question effectively in smaller point heads to them. Okay. In the interview, if they ask at last, do you have any questions for us? You should have a question for the HR as well. That is very important. Now that's where you come very smartly to them, showcasing that I'm not just looking for a job, I'm looking for a career with your organization. Ask questions about how much is the company expecting out of a fresher in terms of performance, right? How much a company is expecting out of a fresher that they recruit in the next 6 months or a year. What are the levels of performance that they're expecting? Second, you can ask them, could you share or narrate me a story of one of the freshers that you hired who had given an exceptional performance and is right now at a senior level? And what are the major things that made them rise in the hierarchy very soon? It's very simple. How can you reach out recruiters and HRs on LinkedIn? Well, that's through written communication. Whenever you find a recruiter or an HR, please drop a message to them if you can. If not, then you can join forums of HR groups in your local areas, or rather at national level HR forums. Follow the companies that you want to be a part of or you want to work with. You find people in your network joining because you're following the same company, and then it is easier to reach them out. Is that clear? And don't sound desperate in your communication. Be very logical, be very authentic with them, but not desperate. That's the only thing that I would say. All right, now we are talking about workplace dynamics. You are in a workplace, you now want to survive in the workplace, because it is rightly said, you get hired because of your hard skills, but you get fired because of your soft skills. And workplace dynamics play a very big role in it. You have to be what the organization asks you to be, because they are paying you for the time that they are asking you to work for them. So nobody expects anything less than a delight. Okay. So what is the first thing when we talk about workplace dynamic? The company would like you to think about future, not today. When you have become a part of an organization today, someone already envisioned today for them before you walked in. So don't tell them what you're doing today is wrong. Tell them that what you're doing today should grow into this, because this is what tomorrow has for us. This is how tomorrow is growing. Let's take the example of Nokia. Andy Rubin, the maker of Android, walked up to the Nokia office and said, "Take my operating system. I am also ready to copyright and patent it for you, along with my name in it, and make phones." Nokia laughed at him, said, "This is not going to work. It's open source." He said, "Okay, thank you." And the person walked out and immediately contacted Samsung, who was struggling to beat Nokia. Not even 15% market share for Samsung. Samsung immediately took over Android and launched the first series of phones. And rest is history. Where is Nokia today and where is Samsung? Is Samsung still competing Nokia? No. It competes what? Apple. It's competing the most self-developed product in the world and is still beating them at their game in sales. Is it not true? We all know the thing, right? So the first rule of workplace dynamics is don't talk today, talk tomorrow. That means if something is starting today, how will it grow tomorrow? You should have that vision. So carry a visionary attitude. Second, don't consider your brand of the organization and your brand you separate. Because when a client looks at you, you are the first brand that is endorsing the company's brand to him. Is that clear? So you need to be very clear that you join both the brands. I've seen a lot of salespeople. They say, "Sir, even if you don't like my organization, I am there. You must work with me." Why? That is probably your today, but tomorrow it is not going to happen. And you yourself are not very loyal to your own organization. You are self loyal, but not to the organization that is employing you. So, what happens? The companies, they have temporary sales. But when there is brand loyalty in the organization, the company doesn't have to worry about sales at all. It invests heavily on its manpower. The manpower brings in the sales, and everybody is happy, happy. Example, Tata's. From the CEO to the MD, everyone, even to the blue collared workers in the field and plants, have to wear the same uniform, which says Tata just above the heart on the pocket. Isn't that brand endorsement? that I am Tata and Tata is me. That's how workplace dynamics work. Values and behavior: honesty, integrity, and teamwork never will go out. So these basic values and behaviors should always be there. All right. Okay, Rishabh has a question for me. I'm going to take this question because this is important. I'm a third year CSE student, bachelor's degree, and what are the key steps I should follow to get a good internship? Please skill up yourself very well. Showcase that skills on internet and GitHub. LinkedIn and GitHub via the internet. Um, have a good rating as a coder on coding platforms. That's also very important. And make sure you have a good network that can endorse you. Right? Rishabh, endorsements from your faculties, endorsements from your seniors, and do connect with people who are already working in the industry with you, maybe in your family tree, maybe in your social circle, and tell them if they can open doors for you by referring you into the organizations. That's going to be very important. All right. Now, well-being. Please make sure that you take care that you are cultivating an environment where everybody's careful about every other person's well-being. Don't be a person who says, I don't care what you have to do, I want my job done. Sometimes we do have to say such things, but when your work is done, make sure you make the other person feel good as well. That's how well-being is done, because first well-being is mental well-being. Physical well-being can follow. Okay. How to create a good network? But it's a very simple question, no? Create a good network with people who have good skills, who have good references, who have good connections. Rishabh, the first set of people that you can start growing your network are your own faculties. Connect with them on LinkedIn. The companies that you want to be a part of, follow them. You will get your network. And it's an everyday job. It doesn't happen in one day. Please understand that. Next, for sales jobs, how can we grow and what are the key points we should keep in mind while selling? For sales jobs, you will only grow if you have recurring customers. That means the same customer buying from you again and again. So don't ever compromise on ethics as a salesperson. People will not buy from you again. They'll buy from you once, they'll not buy from you again. So don't do that. All right. Next, always give solutions in your sales pitch. Don't give uh, greedy propositions. Apple does not compromise on its pricing. Apple does not compromise on its quality as well. So, people who go to buy Apple, they don't ask for discounts. Do they? They hardly care. Right? So, be very clear. Honor your product, sell its proposition, and make sure that you create a relation out of that sales, not just one sales and then you are vanished. Right? How to grow in LinkedIn? Network people with people from your industry, from your fraternity, from people who have similar kind of work interests. Network with them. That's very important. Now, one very important thing is you need to, before you develop yourself as a effective team manager or a team leader or a leader for others, are you a good self leader? That's a big question to answer. How efficiently are you working on your own knowledge? How regularly are you upgrading your knowledge? How clear is your own thinking, your own thought process? Are you very much self-aware? Are you very clear decision maker? Are you ready to take onus of your wrong decisions as well? Are you a critical thinker? Are you a problem solver? That's what clear thinking is all about. Five different things I've told you. Step 4, intentional actions. Do you take ownership of your actions? Do you just pass the buck to other people when someone comes and tells you you did this wrong? You say I did this wrong because of him, because of her, because of this, because of that, this happened so it became wrong. Or do you say, yeah, I did it wrong. I'm sorry. I'll correct it. So suppose I don't have any person in my family who can provide me with referrals. So how can I contact people on LinkedIn for jobs and internships? Search internships on the internship bar. You will find many people giving out internships. Contact them. Say I'm looking forward for internships. Whenever someone puts a post of internship, comment on it. Looking for the internship. Please let me. How can I contact you? It's very simple. It's an open platform. But please make a big network of people around you. Connect with your friends, connect with your friends, connect with your teachers, your uh, university or educational institution leaders. They have a huge network. Their network is then becoming your network as well. Networking starts from local area, then it goes to the global level. Is that clear? So please network yourself effectively. That's what I'm talking about. Intentional action. Have the intent to take the right action, and you will find a way. Next, a step which I missed out deliberately: emotional intelligence. Do you feel sorry for others or do you actually feel their pain? That's a huge question. Because if you feel sorry for others, it's just for 10 seconds. After that, you're like, this is all a part of life. But if you feel their pain, you help them overcome it. That's empathy. That's emotional intelligence. Can you just hold your emotions when you require to? Or do you just blast out your emotions? Or do you just close yourself completely whenever something is wrong around you? If you can do the first one, that is holding your emotions, you are emotionally intelligent. But if you are blasting out your emotions, if you are closing yourself completely and not letting someone emotionally touch with you when something is wrong with you, you're not emotionally intelligent. Please build these four sides of your personality. Immediately you will become a self leader, and when you become a self leader, you in turn become a ready product to be a leader for others. Because before leading others, you should know how you are leading your own self. That's uh, okay. Yesterday gate result came out and my score is not up to the mark. I'm in third year now. What should I do? Whether I should continue my preparing gate or continue placement preparation? Now, Rishabh, tell me, what is your real plan? Do you want to crack gate, or are you thinking if I crack gate, I'll not take placement, or I will take placement? If gate is the answer, then there is nothing else that should bother you. Only gate preparation. Finished. Your own full time academics and your gate preparation. Two things in your mind should be there. Clear thinking is the first sign of a self leader. Don't take advices like these from people at all. Ask yourself what do you want and work for it. And you will see things will happen for you. Right? Can you provide examples of successful persuasive communication campaigns and their components? The simplest of communication campaign that you see around you. How many of you have seen those McDonald's taglines in India? What is it? Or Domino's tagline? What is it? The tagline for Domino's is Hungry Kya? And most of the people, when you go in there, are you hungry? Yeah, hungry kya? The answer is simple as that. Kit Kat. The chocolate is not very interesting. How many of you think Kit Kat is a very effective uh, chocolate? I don't think it is. But what did they associate Kit Kat with? Breaks. Have a break. Have a Kit Kat. So people like Kit Kat. They get mental satisfaction by eating Kit Kat. Not that taste is not very. Nobody, I think, would be very worried about the taste. They get mental satisfaction. Oh, I'm taking a break. Why? Because when you take that slab of Kit Kat, you break the one into two, and then one slab each. You break them into two, and you eat them. You feel mentally satisfied. It's a break. Persuasive communication and connecting with emotions. That's the component. Where communication connects with emotions, it is always persuasive and effective and 100% successful. Please keep that in mind. All right. Last but not the least, please, you can take a screenshot of this slide. The 7 areas of self leadership: self discovery, self identity, self development, self direction, self awareness, self talk, self mastery. Sir, how can I optimize my LinkedIn profile to attract recruiters and network effectively? I told you, Namrata, please connect with people who have effective networks. You don't need to add your family members in the LinkedIn profiles. You need to add people um, who are, you know, who are basically a part of a great or a productive network. Let's say I'll give you all a chance. You all can add me on LinkedIn. Go and search Dr. Sachin Sidhra. Dr. SACHINSIDHRA. Go and search me on LinkedIn. Add me. Connect with me. My network is open to you. Trust me, I almost have a 12,000 people network with me. So all that network is open to you now. Go do whatever you want with my network, because I don't tell my network anything. If you connect with them, they will add you. If you message them, they'll revert to you or not. That's all on how you approach them. And that will work. Please understand. But you have to think carefully that who am I connecting? What is going to happen? What am I gaining out of it? Is that clear? So please be very careful in networking with people and network effectively. And once you network effectively, you create great outcomes for yourself. Right? Okay, last but not the least, team building, very effective and very much required. You need to be a part of team And when you are a part of the team, you don't wait just for the team leader to run the team. You keep suggesting the team leader as well to make the team great, because you are a part of that team. And if your team is not great, you don't feel great. So help the team become diverse. Don't make a team of all the people who are just like you. Don't make a team of people who are just like you. Someone should be opposite of you. Someone should be better than you. Someone should be a little more creative. Someone should be a little more critical. Different personalities, when they come together with a common goal and a common outcome that they want to achieve, they make great things happen. Second, as we were talking, communicate effectively in the team. No assumptions, no presumptions. Very clear cut communication. And ask for feedback in your communication immediately. Am I clear? Did you get it? Please let me know if you have a doubt. Let me talk to you. Set clear goals. Don't set a goal which is like, after 5 years, our team will be this. No, after 6 months, I want the team to complete this. Next 6 months, we'll do this. And then under those 6 months channels, also, there should be daily plans that everybody is going to work on their own and going to reach a common objective by end of the day, and then the end of the week, and then the end of the month, and then the end of the quarter, and then the end of the half year. Encourage creativity. Someone says, okay, you're doing this, but we can do it in this manner also. Don't say, no, no, yeah, we are doing this, let us do this only. Okay, tell us, how did you do it? Encourage creativity and promote respect. Mutual respect is the most easily bonding element of a good team. You are having a bad day, you are not performing that day, nobody makes fun of you. You get respect. But you are performing very well and someone is having a bad day, so that doesn't give you the liberty to brag about your performance and to make them look small in front of you. That day, you should walk up to them and say, it's okay. I've had bad days too. Let's do it together. I'm there with you. Don't feel shy. That's what great teams do. Is that clear? So, with that, ladies and gentlemen, I come to the end of this session. Thank you so much. I hope this session was good and worth your time on a Sunday afternoon. We have a feedback form. I'd request all of you to fill the feedback form, as the Web Go Learning Network would like to have feedbacks about the workshop and your suggestions of what new workshops we should be conducting. And let's call it a day here. If you have any doubts, queries, questions, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn and connect with me and let me know how can I help you. I'll give you my LinkedIn profile. I've given my LinkedIn profile on the chat for you people. If you can see the chat, that's all right. If not, the comment section has my LinkedIn profile for you. Please go ahead. You can add me on LinkedIn. So with that, I come to the end of this session. Thank you so much. It was great meeting all of you on a Sunday afternoon, and I hope we all stay connected with each other. See you for till the next workshop, and thank you so much for attending this session. Thank you so much, Namrata. Thank you so much. Thank you. It's a pleasure for me to help all of you. Feel free, connect with me on LinkedIn. You can drop me a chat. I'll try to help you as much as I can if you have a doubt, any question, any queries. Thank you so much, Karishma. Thank you very much for that feedback. Perfect point on leadership. All right. So we'll depart from this session. Please do not forget to fill the feedback form, which is already floated on chat. Whereas I guess it will also be shared with you on your emails via which you have registered. It was great talking to all of you. Thank you so much. Stay blessed, everyone. Take care.